Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for being here today. I can see all you guys in the chat. It's Friday. Yay. Thanks so much for being here. My name is Felicia from SweetGeorgia, and this is Taking Back Friday, the live stream version. We're trying to do these every second Friday of the month. And so we've been making these Friday videos for years now. And now finally we're doing these live streams, mixing them in with all of the other videos and things like that, because they're fun and because I can see you guys on chat, and it's nice to see everybody here. It's wonderful. It's like not being in a room talking to myself. It's fantastic. So today we have lots and lots of things to share with you. Lots of things have been going on because it's springtime. It's finally springtime. Well, almost. It's February. But it's a beautiful sunny day here in Vancouver. It's really quite nice. It's wonderful. It's going to be wonderful. So I have lots of things. I wrote down a list so that I don't lose track of all the things that I wanted to tell you about. First thing I want to talk to you guys about is that we did refresh the website a little bit this past week. We were waiting for a number of weeks before actually fixing up the website. We were putting it on hold because of Mercury in retrograde, which seems like a silly thing, but it's really not. My husband was saying, you're a grown adult, you run a business, you shouldn't be so superstitious, you should just do things, you shouldn't plan your life around, Mercury in retrograde. But we actually did. We did. And it was a good thing. So this week we have been updating the website for SweetGeorgia. We've been updating the website for the School of SweetGeorgia. And I'll tell you a little bit about all those things as we go along. But one of the first things that I wanted to share with you here today is our spring collection. This is about the time where we talk about all the new colors that we come out with seasonally. So if you don't already know, what we do is we have a core collection of colors that we try to keep as consistent as possible. So colors that people have been using for a long time now, like Deep Cove or Lollipop or, just like favorite color. Mink is one of my favorite colors I can't stop thinking about right now. So those colors are our core colors, and they stay in the system, and we don't try to change those, so that way we can make things really consistent. But we also like to create new colors every season, so fall and winter, and also spring and summer, to sort of reflect on how we're feeling, how we're doing, the kind of colors that we want to be surrounded by. And if you have been on the website lately, you might have already seen some of these new colors. So I'm going to show them to you. I have a little different view of these here that I can show you. So these are the 6 colorways that we created for spring and summer 2022. They are meant to be bright and fun and airy and splashy, and I think airy is the big word. Every season, even like our fall season, our fall winter season, we were talking about needing to be calm and feeling cocooned and cozy and like nesting at home and being at home and just being, wrapped up in blankets, that kind of feeling, just nesting, being at home. But spring and summer is very much about this feeling of like, we want to get outside, we want to see the sunshine, we want to see the air, we want to breathe fresh air. And so I feel like very much like a lot of these colors reflect that feeling of, going out, breathing fresh air. So I'm going to share with you, okay, these are the colors in sort of rainbow color order, I guess. Rainbow color order, maybe like this. Like this. So this one is Sunset Spice. So warm and toasty and rosy and that kind of thing. This one's called Morning Light. So very much like dawn, sunrise, just fresh and light and airy kind of things. Happy colors, exactly what Greta just said here, happy colors. This one is called Hint of Mint, and it's got all of these colors have a lot of different colors going in and out, and there's a lot of nuance and variation to all of these, which is really super fun. And imagine making a color gamp with all of these. That would be super fun. I really do love seeing hand-dyed colors, hand-painted colors, woven, because it causes more mixing and blending to happen in a lot of ways. And so it could be, that could make a huge, beautiful, fun blanket, actually. This one is called Celadon Spring. And then this one is Crystal Rain. And finally, this one's called Rosy Posy. So you can see. These are all done on the Superwash DK, but here I have a skein of the Mohair Silk DK, also in that hint of mint. You can see they dye pretty consistently, right? Like these are two completely different bases, but they still dye relatively consistently across all the bases. So they are very, very fun. Oh yeah, Amanda's saying that you could use these for Andrea Mowry's fade designs. You could absolutely mix and combine these, you know, hold two together, and then hold these two together, hold these two together, hold these two together. Lots of different color options. What we try to do with each one of the collections is to create enough hues that you can mix and combine them together, but that they also form a relatively full spectrum. A lot of times where you see like a seasonal collection, there'll be just like 3 different hues or variations on a hue, and they don't necessarily encompass the entire rainbow. So we're kind of like interpreting the rainbow in this airy and fresh and bright way. So I'm really curious to see what you guys would make with all of these. So like a lot of weaving suggestions, some knitting fade suggestions, maybe make it into a giant shawl kind of idea. That would be super fun as well. As you guys know from the last video that I put out, that I ordered a circular sock knitting machine. So all I'm thinking about these days is how can I crank these into tubes for socks, and what would they look like as socks? That's pretty much all I'm thinking about right now. Yes, just playing with all of these colors and having some fun with that. So that is the seasonal color collection. And you guys know that these colors are all available on all of the bases. Yeah, pretty sure. And Teresa can correct me if I'm wrong. I always forget a lot of details, actually. My brain is, I forget a lot of things. But I'm pretty sure that these are all available on all of the bases. Sharon saying, I would weave log cabin with the sunset and the celadon. This could be so fun. Like, I think that there's an entire world of weaving with hand-dyed color that we have just touched the tip of the iceberg on, you know? Like, there's a lot of things that could be done. I'm doing a lot of overshot right now on my 4-shaft weaving loom for fun, and I could just see a lot of hand-dyed colors playing with overshot. Yeah, so colors on the sea silk lace with these colors are really, really quite lovely. And sea silk lace is one of those yarns that I really want to do some more weaving with this year. Sea silk lace and the flaxen silk fine, both of those yarns I think that would work up beautifully in weaving. They work up beautifully in knitting. So that is these colors. Now, I also wanted to share with you other things that we do in the new year, in the new season, is that we always come up with new Party of 5 colorways as well. And so these are always super, I love these. So we have a couple here. This one is actually made from the colors that we did a spinning fiber in called Farm to Table. And so the Farm to Table colorway for spinning fiber was really quite popular. And so we made it into a Party of 5 mini skein set. So that way, if you don't happen to spin, you can have this yarn as is. And you can use it in Tough Love Sock. Again, thinking about stripy socks and making socks with like really fine stripes of each one of these mini skein colors could be super fun. Yeah, that's where my head is at right now. These ones, this is Farm to Table. I also have this one, which I quite like this colorway. For some reason, in all the photos and all the videos, this looks a little bit more purple than it really is, but this color on the end is Stealth Mode. So it's like a gray blue. It's just a really mellow gray blue color. Stealth Mode, Blue Canoe, Snowfall, which is like a pale gray, Toasted. Again, that like this is probably exactly the color of the cardigan that I wear almost all of the time. And then the last one, Desert Clay. So really a lot of coral clay colors mixed in with really mellow, muted blues. That's what this whole colorway is about. I love this. I feel like this could make for a really lovely tapestry. Like we're talking about, we're going to talk about this again, but like I've been thinking a lot about tapestry because we have a tapestry weaving study group that we're going to plan for the School of SweetGeorgia. And I have been talking about making this meet and separate sampler that I learned from Jana for years now. And I feel like these colors would work really beautifully with that, the kind of toasty, rosy gold kind of color. If you guys like purple, this is probably the one that you will like. So this one's called Frozen Blueberry, and it's got Glacier, West Wind, which is a super pale icy blue, Birch, which is kind of like our natural color that's been dyed very, very, very lightly dyed. It's the lightest color that we make. And then these last two ones are Haze and Dried Lavender. So if you're more on the cool side, you would probably appreciate this one. If you like more of the warm side, you might appreciate this one. But these are the new Party of Fives that we have. So we were making these Party of Fives in Tough Love Sock. And I think the last time I showed you guys too, we started to make a handful of colors in Superwash DK as mini skeins. So just for some different weight of yarn to play with, something fun there. So that is the two different things that we released for spring and summer 2022. Teresa's saying I use the sea silk lace as a warp and merino silk lace as a weft for a scarf. It is beautiful. It's like buttery soft, really lovely. And I believe Teresa wove that on a rigid heddle loom plain weave. Like, it's just beautiful. Good morning everybody from Canada. You like my Canada hoodie? This hoodie is from the 2010 Winter Olympics when Vancouver hosted the Olympics. 12 years ago, what my friend was like, how did you keep a white hoodie so clean for 12 years? The next thing I wanted to tell you guys about was the new classes that have launched in the school. So we have just this week, it's come out, the brioche class. So it's not teaching you brioche stitches because I've done a couple tutorials on that here on YouTube as well. But it's about fixing brioche mistakes. So what happens if you missed something or you forgot to carry something over, or whatever you forgot to do a couple of rows down? How do you go about fixing your brioche? And so Matt Akers, he was one of our designers in residence here for the school, for SweetGeorgia this past year, designer in residence for SweetGeorgia. He developed this class called Fixing Brioche Mistakes. And so that just went live this past week. And so I hope that you will find that in the school and see if that is helpful. Because, yeah, I think that the whole idea is to give you confidence to be able to read what you're doing. This is something that we try to emphasize over and over and over again in the school, in all of our teaching, is to be able to read what you're doing, to know where you are at any given point in time. And so once you can read what you're doing, then you just develop much more confidence around all of your making. You're just like, oh, I can handle that. Mistake comes up, I can handle that. And it's not a panic situation. You don't have to frog the whole thing. You don't have to throw it in a corner. You can deal with it. And so a lot of this is about learning how to manage mistakes. The other class that I wanted to tell you about is the color and weave class that Amanda Wood made for us for the School of SweetGeorgia as well. So I've showed this a couple of times, but this is the sweetest, cutest little color and weave gamp that you can make using that class. And so, of course, if you want to, you can make it bigger, but Amanda made this one as a sample, just so that way you can see different combinations of, I guess, designs. So I'll show you just a little bit more up close here. So here we go. This is the gamp that is made from just two cones of cotton. It's one of these. So it's the Gist Beam in Licorice, and then the light color is the Gist Beam in Natural. So it's 2 cones. And then there's 1 cone of color that is just separating all of the patterns. And so very simply, you can see here, there's a bunch of different combinations of colors. So here, this is all solid licorice for the warp. Then here, I believe there's 3 ends. Oh yeah, no, it's 2 ends of dark, 1 end of light. Here is 2 ends of dark, 2 ends of light. And this is 3 ends of light, 2 ends of dark, 2 dark, and 4 light. So kind of like mixing and combining how many colors you have of the light and the dark in your warp, and then you can do the same as you weave, and you're just kind of adding in like one more white weft, and then another 2 white wefts, and then just moving along and adding more and more to create all of these different not textures, and they're not colors, they're like graphic patterns, because all of this cloth is plain weave. It's kind of hard to believe sometimes, but this is all plain weave, and it was all done on a rigid head loom. So if any of you guys are watching and you have rigid head looms, this is one amazing way to play with your loom, to play with variation. Like, this is my absolute favorite block here, and it looks like running stitches. Like, it looks like a woven pattern that has been created from different light and dark colored picks. It's just, I love this. It's amazing. So yeah, so this is the class that's come out with Amanda Wood, teaching you how to set up your loom for making a color and weave gamp like this. And then out of this, we use a similar idea as the twill class that I taught, where we're making a gamp and then we extract one of these sections and then extrapolate that into a much bigger project. Yep. So Amanda's saying that, yeah, she liked the houndstooth parts. This is houndstooth here, and this is houndstooth. You can get different variations. There's all sorts of things that you could make. So yeah, Amanda teaches this class on how to do the color gamp. Color and weave gamp. And so it's just these 3 cones of cotton. Yeah, you could make that into a scarf for sure. And then so out of that, she's extrapolated some of the ideas from this gamp to design her own towels. So she designed a set of towels. I only have one. She has the other set of towels. She gifted them to her mom for the holidays. But yeah, she took a lot of the information that came out of the gamp and then was able to extrapolate that out in order to design a bigger project. So this is a nice, beautiful kitchen towel that you can make on a rigid head loom. And then she shows how she hemmed them and color decisions that you can make. What I like about the kitchen towels that she designed here, I think she called this one scrambled eggs. There's another one that's called fried eggs that has more contrast between a light and a dark. But what I like about these is that it doesn't have super high contrast, right? She's using a light yellow with a slightly darker yellow, and then coming up with 3 different tones or shades of yellow, tints of yellow, 3 different variations of yellow, because you're mixing and blending these different colors, these different values of yellow into something different. So not every single thing with color and weave has to have this high contrast black and white sort of look. You can use this for learning, but you can create something that's really subtle and uses that contrast in a really subtle way. So in any case, this is the class that came out, I think, last week on the School of SweetGeorgia. And so what we have, yeah, Carla is hilarious about the eggs. Yeah, she used this color, which is like egg yolk color, and then she used the lighter color, which is like scrambled eggs part. And then she also used this part. So these 2 together looks like fried eggs, right? So that is super fun. So this class is available. And as you guys know, we also had this class. This is the twill gamp class. That was also available. And so what we decided to do to make life easy for you guys was to create weaving gamp kits using the Gist beam. So we made 2 kits. You can find them on the website now, but basically one kit looks like this. So it's 3 cones. It's the dark cone, light cone, and 1 cone of contrast. And then there's another kit that is basically this: light cone, dark cone, and then 1 cone of contrast. So these 2 weaving gamp kits are available on the website right now, and as part of that, we are also going to give you 1 month access to the School of SweetGeorgia. If you're a brand new, if you've never joined the school before, you can get 1 month of access to the school so that you can learn how to make this or how to make this. So those 2 things are available right now as well. So many cones of Gist. I'm keeping all of my cone ends. I'm keeping all of the leftover cones after I finish using all of the Gist. I'm keeping all the cones and I'm winding sock yarn to them using my double-ended bobbin winder, because from what I've heard, when you knit socks from this, you want to have the yarn come off a cone like so. So I've been keeping all of my cone ends. So this is going to be the saga of collecting cones. Now, wanted to share with you guys also, okay, so I was talking about the website updates and things like that, and so maybe what I'll do is I will share with you guys. You guys can see my screen here with the website on it, and so we made a couple of changes that I just wanted to highlight to you, and that is that we added this function here where you can search for products. So there's a search bar now, so hopefully that makes it much easier for you to find things. So if I say like put in Party of 5, then all of the Party of 5 products come up here, and then hopefully that is a little bit easier for you to find different things. The other thing is that we added this drop down, this browse categories, and so this is going to lead you into all the parts of the shop. So hopefully that will be easy for you guys to find things as well. We have a lot of things on this website. It's been a website that we've been using for, I don't even know how many years. It's been a number of years. And so we're always trying to organize it so that way you can find all the things that you need. So that is basically that. Wanted to make sure that you guys knew that all of those changes are there and to look out for them. The other thing that I wanted to mention to you as well is, the color and weave class went out last week, the brioche class went out this week, and in this week, because we were fixing the websites and all sorts of things like that, I also updated the School of SweetGeorgia website with the roadmap. So if you go to schoolofsweetgeorgia.com/roadmap, you'll see a list of all of the classes that we are working on developing right now. So it shows you like Q1, what do we have planned? Q2, what do we have planned? So for now until December, all the classes that we're trying to work on, trying to build, trying to work with different instructors on, all of that information is on the website there. So you can go and find that. Let me see. I'm going to see if I can find my chat so I can see you guys again. Yes, fantastic. Yes, so we have updated the website. We updated the School of SweetGeorgia website with all of the content so you can see what's coming. The last thing that I haven't yet posted on the school website that I have to do soon is a list of all the study groups that we are going to be working on. So right now we are working on the weaving study group, which is for this twill gamp. We're learning the twill gamp. Many of you guys in the chat here, you guys are making twill gamps, and I've been seeing them online. They're fantastic. I see them on Instagram. I've seen some of them on YouTube. So that's been awesome, and just excited to see what you guys are making with all of your twill gamp information. But the next thing that we're going to be doing is a knitting study group, and it's going to be all around lace. Typically in the springtime, we do a little bit of a focus around knitting lace. And so this year, there's going to be a class coming out with Tabitha on how to design your own triangular shawl, how to design your own triangular lace shawl. So we're going to kind of work through a lot of the content that's already there about how to knit lace, how to do those yarn overs and decreases, how to, shape your lace and all of those kinds of things. That's kind of first part of the knitting study group. And then the second part of the knitting study group is going to be about taking that information and then being able to design your own lace project. All of these things that we are doing are kind of like two-part study groups, and you can take the second part or leave it. If you don't feel like you're ready to do that designing part, you don't have to do it. But it's just a way of allowing people who already know how to knit lace to kind of move a little bit further and progress people a little bit further through that. So designing a lace shawl, that's going to be the knitting study group. And then after that, we're going to do a tapestry study group. And so we were just talking about that yesterday, what that might look like. But we have these courses that we have developed with Jana and Maria from Everly Textiles. And so we did them a couple years ago. And they're awesome. And they're very, very, the projects that Jana has showed have been really inspiring to me. And it's always been on my list of things to do and make, and just never sort of make time for it, never prioritize it. And so that, I think, is going to become one of the things that I want to work on. And I think it's a culmination of so many things. It's a culmination of the fact that just also released a tapestry yarn recently. And I don't know if you guys have seen this, but this tapestry yarn comes in so many colors. So here, let me show you very quickly. They sent us this beautiful set of color cards. And so they created this tapestry yarn. It's called Array, and obviously like array of colors. And you can see it just looks like paint chips, all of the options that you could use and all of the things that you could make if you had all of these colors. Yeah, I'm quite enamored by all of this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful yarn. So the yarn itself is a wool yarn. It's on the finer side. And so the idea with this tapestry yarn is that you can hold multiple strands together to get the thickness that you need in order to weave it into the tapestry that you're making. So if you need a thicker yarn, maybe you hold 4 strands together, maybe you hold 2 strands together, maybe whatever you need to do in order to get the thickness that you need for your weft to cover your tapestry warp threads. So they provided us with all of these gradients, right? So they're making like a dark hue, and then they have lighter values of each of these hues. And so this allows for more mixing, more blending, more gradation. It's like a very interesting way of creating a palette, right? You have a core set of hues, and then you create lighter values of each one. And so what we have decided to do is that we are putting together each of the gradients. So like this is the daffodil gradient, so there's 3 values of yellow. So we put them together in these mini cones. So they just made them in 2 put-ups. They made them in big cones and also in these mini cones. They call them tubes. So for daffodil, there's 3 values. I think because yellow gets quite light, and then there's, yeah, there's no more values to represent. Maybe there's a lighter yellow that could be made, but maybe it's closer to the undyed. So in any case, we also have tubes that are packs of 4. So these are all now available on the website as well. The array is going to be super, super fun to play with. There's a couple of sets that we don't have one of the tubes for yet, and so those aren't completely full, but we're showing them all on the website now, and so you can go check those out and plan your project. But as part of that tapestry study group, we want to provide some different yarn options, and so one of them might be working with, you know, this yarn. And so right now we have them available in these gradient packs, but for the tapestry study group, we're thinking about like pulling together different color sets out of here, like picking our 4 favorite colors or our 3 favorite colors and putting those together in a set. So we're just looking forward to playing with all these colors. It's like playing with paint chips, right? So I'm going to just quickly show you a picture of something that I've been doing with that array yarn. So that is in the ocean gradient. This is some overshot that I've been weaving at home. And so with overshot, you can use this supplemental weft. So this is the blue stuff, is this extra weft that I'm sort of laying in. And in order to get the thickness that I want, I am using 2 strands held together. So what I did was like 2 strands of the darkest color, and then 1 strand of dark, and then 1 strand of value 3, and then 2 strands of value 3, and then 1 strand of value 3 and 2, and then 2 of 2, and then 2 and 1, and so on and so on and so on, in order to fade the colors in this way. So that is something that could be really fun to play with as well. You know, gradients, fading things back and forth and in and out and mixing and blending and all the things that you could do. The other thing is that I talked to Christine at Gist, and she was saying that all of this yarn, this array yarn, can be woven on multi-shaft looms. It can be woven on a rigid heddle loom. It's probably works best at a set that's around 24 ends per inch for set. So it's quite a fine yarn, but you could make really lovely, you know, just think about color camp with that. Maybe making upholstery fabric, like not upholstery fabric like for chair covers or anything like that, but like a pillow. You could design a really super amazing colorful pillow, and yeah, that could be something really, really fun to make. Yeah. Wonderful. So that is the Array Tapestry Study Group. Oh my gosh, there's so many things to talk about. And I am so happy that you guys have all been here today. Yeah, so that's about all I have on the table here. I'm always happy to answer questions if you guys have questions in the group here. Fantastic. And since I'm thinking about these cones, I'm going to ask you guys quite a serious question. Does anybody know anything about 3D printing? I have this kind of idea because this is supposed to go on a double-ended electric bobbin winder that I have here in the studio. I know lots of people have cone winders. I have been on a waiting list for an electric cone winder for years now, and it's still not here. And so I'm just trying to find other ways of winding cones of yarn, because, you know, even if you knit from a cone of yarn, it comes off really nice and easy. And so I want to 3D print something to put inside here, inside the bottom of the cone, that will stay on my double-ended bobbin winder, or even a single-ended bobbin winder, so that I can wind cones of yarn like this. So you guys can leave a message in the comments below and let me know how you go about winding a cone of yarn, because this is much more difficult than I had realized before. Thank you guys so much for being here. It's so nice to just hang out and see everyone. And yeah, Rachel's saying I'm getting excited for Tapestry. I'm getting excited for Tapestry too. I want to be able to weave like little things. And one of the things that we were thinking about with this Tapestry group is for sure there are Tapestry looms designed for Tapestry. I got one like 2 years ago, the Eris loom from Shacked, and it's a beautiful loom. It's about like this big, and it's got the handle so that you can change the shed. So it's beautiful, efficient, and all this kind of stuff. It's a great loom. And I know Leah has picked up a couple of Murex looms as well, so that is specific for weaving tapestry. But I sit here and I find myself surrounded by a lot of floor looms, a table loom right here behind me, and so I think about the possibility of weaving tapestry on a floor loom. You can change your shed very efficiently. Jana talked about how she wove tapestry on her Fanny floor loom, and so I kind of feel like that's where I want to go as well, because many of you guys who are watching, you have rigid heddle looms, or you're starting to move into getting your first floor loom, or maybe you've had a floor loom for a while. And I just like the idea of making use of the equipment that you have, rather than going out and getting something that is specific for tapestry. If you're going to be a tapestry weaver and you're going to weave only tapestries over and over and over again, then of course go get a tapestry loom. But if you're just trying it and you just want to see how it goes and give it a try, never done it before, then I would try working with the things that you already have. Greta is asking, can array be used for knitting? Yes, you can do it for knitting. I think that that's one of the things that Just is hoping to do as well, because they've been designing a lot of yarns specifically for weaving, but some of the yarns, like that alpaca yarn, the Ode alpaca yarn that they created, is like fingering weight, a little bit of a heavy fingering weight alpaca yarn, perfect for knitting. So Ode could be knit. Just this beam stuff is like 100% cotton, and it's a nice weight that you could crochet with this. You could knit with this into like a market bag and all that kind of stuff. And the array, I think that, yeah, definitely you could knit with it, but you might want to hold multiple strands together. It's kind of like a lace weight yarn. So, and it's not soft, like you wouldn't put it next to your face kind of wool yarn. So it would be more like an outside shawl, drape on the outside of what you're wearing, that kind of a thing. I love the Sage Marjoram saying, I love the collapsible Ashford tapestry loom, but multi-shaft tapestry is very fun. Yeah. I think everything for me is about, can I change sheds without using my hands? That is the game changer for me. So being able to treadle something, that is the best feeling. Yes, Amanda saying it's a long wool, so it would be good for some things, but not for others. Yes. Weather Lady is saying Dean and Bean uses a drill attachment to wind cones. Yeah, I have seen that too, where you get like a thing that you put in here, and then you put a drill in, and then that allows you to turn the cone, and then you can wind yarn. But I have the thing that will turn the cone. I just need something that will hold the cone in place. So in order to wind this, I stuffed a small ball of yarn into the bottom here, and then just kind of mashed that onto the bobbin winder. And it worked, but it wasn't elegant. And so I think, wow, if I could 3D print something that could fit in here, that would be perfect. Fantastic. Wonderful. So this was super fun. Let's do this again next month. It's nice to see everybody here today. Thank you so much for watching. If you like these meetups and this kind of content, then please do feel free to subscribe. We come here every Friday with some kind of a video. What we're trying to do is we're trying to do these live streams second Friday of every month, and then the fourth Friday of every month is to have kind of like an interview with another kind of maker, something like that. The next one that I have coming up with Grace O'Neill. So you will know her from Babbling Yarn. She's also one of our SweetGeorgia ambassadors. She is just super, super fun to chat with. And so we had a great conversation. So that's going to come up in a couple of weeks. And then next week I'll have another video for you guys. And as well, I've been posting weaving specific videos on Wednesdays. Not every single Wednesday, but many Wednesdays. Some Wednesdays. Most Wednesdays. As many Wednesdays as I can. So that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for being here. It's nice to see you all, and I will see you guys in the next one. All right, bye for now.